Engage.
What's up, guys and geeks? Welcome back to the Geek Critique Show. We're your hosts, Dakota and
Jen.
And we're here with my brother.
Hey, I'm Noah. How are you guys?
Shout out to Hako Taco on Instagram.
HACOTACO.
There we go.
Yeah.
Guys, we need to talk. Split just came out last night. It's M. Night Shyamalan's latest film. If you have not seen it, leave now. We're going to be talking about the end of the movie.
A lot of spoilers coming up, too.
A lot of spoilers. Yeah. The spoiler.
The biggest one.
Yeah. I think the biggest of Shyamalan's career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, that was really well said.
So, let's get into it. If you ever plan on seeing some of M. Night Shyamalan's earlier work, namely anywhere between Unbreakable to Sixth Sense to Signs, just watch this another time. Go watch those first. Definitely worth it. But anyway, let's get right into it.
All right. So Noah is a really big M. Night Shyamalan fan, and that's why we have him on the show, because he has a lot to say in this department.
Yeah, he forced us to see it late last night. I was super tired because we had gone to the beach and all that.
And I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, mixed reviews were going around.
Yeah.
And, you know, M. Night Shyamalan's reviews critically don't always
resonate. Yeah. And we've always been big Shyamalan fans.
Yeah, growing up. My dad.
Something about like looking for the twist and finding the twist and
trying to find it before it's revealed, which is
there's a game to it. Yeah.
And even some of the worst M. Night Shyamalan films we enjoyed, and we would watch them over and over again just because of the
ones that he wrote, not The Last Airbender or anything like that. So.
But Lady in the Water. But
that was
The Happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen The Happening. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Split. So, really quick recap, what is it about, Jen?
So it's basically about this girl who's kind of the outcast at school. She's a little bit of a rebel, and she gets like this pity invite to a birthday party. She can't get a ride home, and the dad says that he'll drive her. And basically she's with these two best friends that don't really like her that much, and they get kidnapped by this person who has split personality disorder.
By Kevin, or as this personality has it, Barry.
Yeah, so it's more about her and him than the other two characters.
Right.
They're just kind of like,
well, the whole movie is about Kevin and all of his different personalities.
But I think too that the girl, she plays a big role.
Of course she does.
You know, and I think it is about her as well. And I think, you know, she's going to.
She's the protagonist of the film, obviously. You see everything through her eyes, so everything that she knows, or everything that she sees, you know. But you also get you get a better understanding of the character by the Dr. Fletcher, who talks about personality disorders and multiple personality disorders in particular, what they call DID. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting how she views it. She doesn't see it as one human split up into several different minds. It's several different minds inside a single human. So like some people would see that as like half of a person in this side and half of a person in this side. Yep. She's thinking of it as two different people residing in one, which is technically stronger in her opinion.
Which I thought was interesting, even when she meets another personality for the first time, like when she first meets Kevin. Mm-hmm.
Or Barry.
When she first meets Barry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
no,
Barry.
They first meet Dennis.
That's right, yes, Dennis.
Yeah, and when she meets him, you know, she has to kind of draw him out, and she had a description of who he was before. And then when he finally confesses, like, yes, this is Dennis, she goes, hi, how are you? Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really well done, just because it showed she really is saying, like, these are completely different people.
She's literally introducing herself to a completely new person that she hasn't met, and
in spite of knowing, you know, that human being himself for years.
And amazing acting on James McAvoy's part.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Perfect.
It was amazing. just the way that you actually felt like he was different people. Even when he was playing like the woman who was Patricia?
Yeah, Patricia, yeah.
Even when he was playing Patricia, it was...
The mannerisms are totally different for everyone.
Yeah. Even the way that he walks down the stairs when he leaves, did you
Yeah,
notice,
yeah.
like, he was trying to fake, like, one character, and then when he walks down the stairs, he has the demeanor that's different.
Yeah, yeah.
He walked
It's
very
interesting.
stiff and straight.
So let's... I guess we can mention all the different personalities of Kevin. So we have Dennis, who is the OCD, kind of perverted.
Yeah, he liked to watch girls, like, young girls dance.
Right.
And because even, one thing that I thought was interesting was that he, like, was going to, I think, like, either rape the girl or do something to her, the one with the dark hair.
I think
And
he just
then
wanted to watch her dance. I think that, because that's what the psychiatrist was saying.
She said it. And yeah, I thought that was interesting because then he said afterwards when he came back, he was like, oh no, I can't, I realize now I can't do that. You're here for a reason. Because if he would have violated her, then she wouldn't have been considered pure.
Right.
Yep.
And then she couldn't be sacrificed to,
That's true.
you know,
The Beast.
The Beast.
Which we'll talk about.
Oh yeah,
now,
continue.
actually.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have cut you off.
So we're just talking about all the different personalities. So there's Dennis, there's Patricia, who is like this woman that he dresses up in. I don't know if you've seen the
She's
trailers.
kind of she's like a crazy,
She seems like a
over-enthusiastic nun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
She has like a wry smile all the
Yeah.
time, which I really enjoyed. She was always like,
There's also Hedwig, who's a 9-year-old boy trapped in Kevin's body.
Right.
he likes Kanye West.
He likes dancing to Kanye West. I like that part.
Pretty good.
Who else was there? There was Barry, who's like a
There's
fashion.
a fashionista.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always talking about like what clothes he's wearing.
Yeah.
There's Jane, who is like. We only see Jane on the computer.
Jade.
We don't-
It was Jade.
Jade, yes. She's kind of just like prissy and like always talking about her nails.
Yeah.
And then I guess those are the main ones. But then there's
There's a bunch
the
of
ultimate
others.
one,
Right.
the Beast. Let's
So
talk
this
about the
is
Beast.
Kevin is a character who has 23 different personalities inside him. Two of these personalities, namely Dennis and Patricia, are kind of they go against the other 21 personalities because they're trying to combine everything to
It's
create.
like they're staging a coup to create.
Yeah, they're staging a coup within his own mind
Yeah.
to create what they believe as the Beast. And throughout the movie, we're learning through Dr. Fletcher that individuals with DID are able to manipulate their body chemistry, their physical attributes, depending on the different individual residing at the current time. The current personality. So one can be a lot weaker, one can be a lot stronger, and we actually see that because Hedwig is not able to push the door open with the two girls behind it, but then Dennis comes in and he easily pushes through.
Yeah.
That was interesting. But let's talk about the Beast a little bit.
Jeez.
Well, since we're going full spoilers,
Yeah.
we find out that where Dennis buried Kevin, whoever it is, has taken these girls is underneath a zoo.
Yeah.
So I think that really shows that the
Yeah.
Beast is a combination of animals at the zoo. They said that his skin is hard like rhinoceros, rhinoceros
He can
skin,
climb walls. I'm assuming like a gecko or a lizard.
like a gecko or lizard. Yeah, he's fast like a cheetah, and he eats the bellies like a lion.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
literally, that's something that happens to this character, and it's interesting because he doesn't Hulk out necessarily, but he does become larger. He does become stronger, and his veins
More
are
vascular,
Very,
yeah.
extremely vascular. It's almost like it's scary.
it is.
He becomes a
Oh my
literal
gosh, the
monster.
scene where he's like coming down the corridor and shutting off the lights.
Yeah.
Because he still has the intelligence of a human, which is terrifying.
Right. So a literal beast is created by the end of the film, but that's not necessarily the twist that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's.
One thing that I thought was a little disappointing was that they showed in the trailer that the beast is real.
Right.
I wish I hadn't known, because then going into it, there's talks throughout the whole film of, well, is the psychologist Fletcher keeps asking, well, is the beast real? Do you actually believe in this? I think this is a story.
So we're all expecting the beast to show up.
Yeah, because we were kind of introduced to it. Like, I think if we hadn't known that the whole time, we would have been like, what is the beast? Like, is this just kind of like...
But at the same time, even in M. Night Shyamalan's trailers and everything, even if it does show a little bit, we know it's not going to give away the big spoiler, which is always his twist at the end.
Right.
And we're all waiting for it. So let's address the small twist first, and then we can kind of get back and get into the big twist.
Of course, yeah.
So the small twist, I guess, was that what was the girl's name?
Casey
Yeah.
Casey Cook.
Casey
something like
Cook, yeah.
Casey Cook. I guess Dennis was trying to get all these girls and eat them because their bodies were pure. They weren't
violated,
damaged
yeah.
or
They had
scarred.
like fairly simple lives. They hadn't been through that much, and he views people who have been through hardships as stronger or closer to being perfect, and unlocking what's in their mind and the potential that they have, so that they could be better. I lost my train of thought.
No, but you're right.
You know what I meant.
So we find out through flashbacks that Casey has actually had a very traumatic life, and I don't want to get too much into it because it's a disturbing subject. But she does have she is not considered pure in his eyes, and he realizes this when he sees some of the scars on her body. So that saved her life in the end. And it was interesting, but it wasn't the caliber of twist that we were expecting.
Used to. In most M. Night Shyamalan movies, we're used to a big twist like, this is present day, or
yeah,
Bruce Willis is actually dead, or
yeah,
the aliens are purposely not landing near water because they're allergic to it. So anyway, it was kind of silly, twist. But it worked for the film. It worked well in the narrative.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Beast gets away. He's calling himself the Horde now, which is interesting. But that was kind of weird that the Beast got away. I wasn't expecting that. Usually, the villains in Shyamalan films find their end.
Yeah.
But when they're showing the Beast or the Horde at the end of the film, a song starts to play in the background, and I immediately thought, like, this sounds really familiar. It's definitely from another Shyamalan film.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that in the movie theater. You're saying,
I was like,
it was like, this is the song from Unbreakable. Yeah,
I realized soon that it was Unbreakable. I thought it was Signs. I thought it was Village. I'm like, no, that's not right. But then I heard it kind of crescendo a little bit, and I heard the end of Unbreakable, where Bruce Willis becomes the hero he was meant to be, and I freaked out. I was like, this cannot be a coincidence that he would use the same.
Yeah.
Even in the beginning of the film,
had like a little spaz moment where he jumped up in his chair, and then we were all like, "No!" We were the only ones in the movie theater,
which
is freaking out.
And everyone was looking around at us like, "What? Why are they freaking out?
What are we missing?"
It's interesting though, because at the beginning of the film, in the opening credits, they made special note of several different music supervisors and composers. And I was like, why do they need several different composers? Why do they need several different music supervisors? And why are they showing us this as if it's important in the beginning of the film? And then that's when it all clicked to me, like, oh, there's something more behind the scenes going on. And then we get transported into a diner.
Yeah.
Where
cool.
where a lady is watching the news and is talking about Kevin, who has this personality disorder of 24 different personalities now, and he's calling himself the Horde. He's a verifiable supervillain at this point. He can't be killed by bullets or anything like that. And she says a really corny line, but it works.
It works. It works, and it got us hyped, and it got us excited.
She goes, this reminds me of that guy 15 years ago. He was in a wheelchair. He, what did he call himself? Yeah. And then it pans over a little bit to the other person beside her, and he called himself Mr. Glass. And it's Bruce Willis.
Yeah, it was Bruce Willis. And it gave me goosebumps.
Yeah,
I was
I jumped up in my chair.
Yeah, we were freaking out.
Yeah.
And we were the only ones doing that in the movie
Everyone's
theater.
Like, everybody's something?
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, well, it's just Bruce Willis.
Oh, such a fantastic ending.
Yeah.
Is this the Unbreakable sequel? Or is this pushing towards an Unbreakable sequel? Is it setting it up?
Well, according to Wikipedia, it's saying that it's a thematic sequel.
Okay.
So the themes are similar and the universe is similar, but it's not a direct sequel to obviously Bruce Willis' story.
A lot of people were comparing it to J.J. Abrams' Cloverfield and then Cloverfield Lane, that they're like possibly connected, but because of that scene being after the end cut, a lot of people are saying that it doesn't really affect the film as a whole.
Right.
So it might have just been like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that. I personally would really love it if this was leading.
But why
to
would he
another film.
tease such an Easter egg? And why would he leave it so open-ended?
I think he knows his fans would be really pissed if he did that and then didn't.
And
well,
it's been-
Well, think about it this way: at the end of Unbreakable, it's totally setting up for a sequel. Like you people have been clamoring for an Unbreakable trilogy since 2000 when the film came out. So 15 years later, or 17 rather,
Crazy.
you finally get a pseudo sequel in Split. Which, by the way, I love the thematic like title. Unbreakable is the story of a hero, is the origin story of a hero, and Split is the origin story of a villain. And the whole film revolves around Kevin in this one. And I think that's so cool because it's the first real superhero film in a cinematic universe that revolves around the villain. Like, it's 100% around this villain, and he's oppressing them. And it's funny that neither Marvel nor DC could do this at this point. And Shyamalan did it behind our backs.
And did any of you guys get the same...
backs.
Yeah, did any of you guys get the same idea of like, oh, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense? And then...
With what?
With the fact that Kevin, you know, like his body chemistry changes and everything. I got that at first, but then once the twist happened, I was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes total sense because it's in the same universe and everything.
And it's a very
Superhero
similar
success.
concept.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn, where you have people that are able to evolve after experiencing a traumatic event.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of what Mr. Glass was doing by creating all of the disasters that he was doing. He was trying to spawn more heroes.
Right. That's interesting.
So it's interesting that Kevin did this on his own entirely. One thing that someone was saying on Reddit that I thought was kind of interesting, and I don't know how possible this is that the train accident in Unbreakables is how is how Kevin's father died, because you see him putting the flowers, you know, at the train station, and that's the last time he saw his dad.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know.
I never actually thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I haven't really, you know, looked into it a ton, but I thought if that is true, that's really interesting, because then that means Mr. Glass created
that's
Kevin.
interesting. That's totally it. I was wondering why he
I
was...
said it to you guys earlier, and you
But
guys didn't
no,
react.
Well,
We didn't
you
hear-
didn't really think.
I didn't-
You didn't see the. I didn't see the facts. Like I
Yeah,
just
I
kinda said
didn't.
it.
Facts.
I didn't hear about, or I was wondering why he put the bouquet there. It didn't explain that.
Yeah, well, he said, I think it was Fletcher that said something like, "You'll find the beast at the train station," which makes sense because that's the last time you saw your father.
That sums it up. So then that means obviously that Mr. Glass created Kevin in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he created a hero and
So
a
this
villain.
is, you know, now, because he thought he failed, Mr. Glass thought he failed, and then he went to prison because, you know, nobody really came from it besides David Dunn. So this means that what he was trying to do, if that's the truth of it, then he succeeded.
And then that would make, obviously, Kevin have a quarrel with, what's his name? David Dunn? In the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really intrigued by that thought.
I like that too.
So yeah, I thought that was just like I think that would be a really cool point. My thought with if there's going to be a next film is if this traumatic event were to have triggered some kind of unlocking of Casey. Because now this could almost be a domino effect of people that were affected by Mr. Glass. This could be the start of another
hero or villain.
But is
yeah,
it,
like, I don't want to say the word evolution, but you kind of get what I mean when I say that. Like, he could have pushed the first domino to get that started with other people.
That's interesting.
Because now one hero will affect another villain, or, you know what I mean, and it'll just keep going. Which
And
I thought is
it's
really
smart.
cool.
It's really smart.
It's genius because the possibilities of what we can do with this universe now is kind of endless.
Well, not endless,
Okay,
but
not endless,
and M.
but-
Night Shyamalan is going to take this further than possibly another movie. I think it would wrap up with a sequel to Unbreakable, because back in the day when Unbreakable came out, people were clamoring for a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted one, and nobody really got one.
Because it didn't feel finished. Because, you know what I mean? Like, you felt like you really loved the character, honestly, and you get this whole story of him becoming who he is, but then after he becomes it, you don't really get much. You know, you're like, well, we want to see what you do next.
And everybody said that they were on board for a sequel.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson had said, like, yeah, if they
Everybody.
wanted a sequel, I would love one.
You know
I mean,
what?
it even left it open. It said Mr. Glass, or I forgot his name. Isn't
The Horde?
No. Mr. Glass, I'm saying.
Oh, Samuel Jackson.
It was saying that Mr. Glass I watched Unbreakable last night, right after the movie, and it said that he's in an insane asylum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Like, he's still alive. They didn't put him in like.
Yeah, I do wish that they would have had a
confinement.
cameo of him just in prison watching the news and then smiling. That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been.
That probably would have been a better ending.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Just like, that whole diner scene and then at the end him just smiling.
Right.
That would have been kind of cool. Or just not having that lady say that. But I think some people, like, even with her being so blatant in saying that, if some people still didn't get it, they obviously needed to make it clear,
Yeah.
So...
Guys, please, if you have any like other little like hints or clues in the actual story narrative or in Unbreakable that you can add to our theory, and I mean, I'm pretty sure we're spot on with all the with the flowers at the train.
Yeah, well, that person on Reddit, I want to give them their credit because I didn't come up with that on my own.
Right.
Like, that was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
If you're right, then that's awesome.
But do we think there's gonna be a sequel?
I do.
Make your guesses
call
down.
it wishful thinking, but I do.
I'd say not in the next 5 years.
What?
I don't think. I don't think.
Does Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson have that much time left in their lives?
Wow.
I'm not saying it like that, but they're old and they have things they want to do.
Bruce Willis has not aged a day.
Yes, he
He's
has.
exactly the same.
No, I was watching him last night. He still has the bald head, but he's definitely
I guess
not.
because he's been bald the whole time. Like,
But what does this mean? What does this mean for the character of Bruce Willis's character? Does this mean
means
that
he's got a freaking job?
But does this mean that he's been out fighting crime for all this time?
I definitely think so.
You think that he's been out doing?
Yeah, maybe doing like little stuff preventive.
For 17 years.
What if he's been hunting people that have been doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And becoming villains. Like, that could potentially be something he was doing, or maybe literally because that woman watching the news was like, "Oh, this is kind of like that one time." Clearly, there's been no supervillain since Mr. Glass publicly. So either he's been preventing that from happening, and this one went underneath, his nose, or nothing's really been going on. It's just like petty crime and stuff.
Another key point that I saw in Unbreakable yesterday was that Mr. Glass was talking about two types of villains. There's the villain that doesn't have any physical characteristics, but he sits on the sidelines and controls everying.
He manipulates.
So that's Mr. Glass,
Like
and
Lex Luthor sort of.
and he said that there's the physical villain.
Right.
He's the physical supervillain that deals with the character like hand to hand, or they go head to head with each other and they butt heads.
I'm just worried that if we do just get a film about Bruce Willis fighting James McAvoy, it won't live up to the hype that this has brought us.
No, I have faith.
You have faith?
But what would the twist in that movie be?
Exactly.
Like what would the twist in that one be?
Maybe at the end Casey shows up. Who knows?
Or at the end, like Bruce Willis's son has powers or something.
All right.
Yeah,
we're getting too
crazy. One thing that I, really enjoyed about the style of this film, very similar to Unbreakables, is that you don't.
Unbreakable.
Why do I? Because I say it like it's Incredibles. I suck.
Yeah.
I suck.
Keep going.
But one thing that I think is interesting is just that you don't know that this is a villain origin story until the end, and that really is how people work. It's so much more realistic than you would get in other hero films, just because people can't be so easily defined as far as heroes or villain right off the bat. It's their actions. People go through traumatic events and react differently. Like, you have Casey, who went through a horrible, horrible life and didn't turn into, a killer, a monster. Right. And then, it's just interesting because that is so practical. Like, people can go through and have a similar life and turn out totally different. And that's why these are so good, because they're more relatable than your average hero film.
Well said. And I think that's a good way to close our episode out. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification button so that you actually get notified when we release new videos. And
don't forget to tell us your thoughts. We really love reading the comments, and I'm sure you guys picked up on a lot of stuff that we didn't.
Right. All right, so thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, and follow
Hako Taco.
At Hako Taco. On
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, you can do that. All right, bye guys.
Bye.